Today I'm going to be doing a long-term review of the 2016 Santa Cruz Bronson. My Bronson is a C frame with the S build. The C frame is approximately a half pound heavier than the CC frame, and the S build has a few compromises as well. The fork is the RC charger as opposed to the RCT3. So you only have the 14 clicks, I think 14 clicks, 12 clicks. You have many clicks of compression, no low speed compression. So high speed compression only on the RC, and you have your rebound, your rapid recovery rebound. And I have the solo air on this. You guys can pretty much read the website for the specs of this. It's pretty much stock. I'll go over the things that I've changed on it. I did opt for the Float X Evol upgrade when I purchased it. Other than that, it's a bone stock. I haven't needed to upgrade very much. Bottom bracket, you can't really see it, but I took it through some river crossings down here in the desert Southwest. Those are pretty temporary and full of dirt. And the race face bottom bracket that came with it just got really gritty, and I could have rebuilt it, but I took it as an opportunity to throw a Chris King set on there. Tires have changed. I've gone through a set. This new tire on the back here is the E13 TRS Plus. Went with that because my friend was getting rid of it and he complained that it was too grippy. So I told him that I'd take it off his hands, and been pretty happy with it so far. I've only got about 3 rides on it, but it's really similar to Maxxis Minion DHR2, so I'm liking it. Front is upgraded from a 2.3 Minion DHR2 to a 2.4 wide trail DHR2. Yeah, I mean, wider is better. I've had to replace the rear brake pads and rear rotor. Show you what happened here. So these Ice Tech rotors are strong, but not when you smash on a rock. So that ended up forming a T shape on the rotor. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but so that took out my pads too, just for me to get out of there. So that's not due to wear, but due to a just riding along incident. That's pretty much, oh, actually, yeah, so the handlebars, I did upgrade. Same guy that was getting rid of the tire, was getting rid of a pair of Santa Cruz carbon handlebars. So these carbon bars are 760 as opposed to the 780 that I was running. I know that there's a trend towards wider bars, and wider seems to always be better with handlebars, but there is a point of diminishing returns, and I felt that 780 might have been that point for me. So I'm going back to 760 and see how I feel. The Santa Cruz Palmdale grips got worn out recently, so I've got a brand new set of Ergon GD1s on there. They're a tapered grip. I don't know if you can see here, but it's skinnier here by where you grip near your thumb, and then it gets wider out here towards the flat of your hand, and it's supposed to be a little bit more ergonomic. Stem's the same. It's a, I believe, 45 mil. I just serviced the lowers on the Pike and the air can on the Float X. You guys can check out those videos. They're on the maintenance playlist on my channel. Yeah, I guess go over the items that have worn out on me. The cassette, it's a GX. I broke a couple teeth off of it and ended up replacing it. It wasn't completely shark toothed or worn out, but so replaced that and put a, I think it's an XO1 chain. So replaced those two at the same time. Trying to think of other things that have worn out on me. Not really much has. Yeah, I think that that's about it. I've bled the reverb, brakes I've bled. Yeah, pretty solid bike. The one complaint I do have about this is, you guys can't really see from there, but so for the Bronson 2, Santa Cruz has tucked the lower link up in here into the frame, at least for the carbon model. They went with a split link for the aluminum model, but the carbon model has this little pocket for the lower link to fit in there. It's a little wishbone that fits in right here. And it is a mud shelf. So as your tire is spinning, the mud sprays and just collects in this little area. You can see my hand's pretty dirty just from going in there with my finger. And you can see that that's a bit of a concern, for me at least. I like my bikes to be clean, and I don't like any grit getting into places that pivot. From an engineering perspective, I love that. It's a perfect place for the pivot. They fixed a lot of the problems. They were able to shorten this chainstay quite a bit due to this design. So I'm a fan of that, but you have to be pretty diligent about cleaning this. And because you're diligent about cleaning it, you have to be diligent about re-greasing and retorquing and cleaning out your pivots. I mean, it's a fairly easy job. It's just a little time consuming, and you gotta set things out and lay it out and clean everything out and, you know, put it all back together and torque it up right. So something that a lot of people might not like. With this, when you let it go for too long, you do start to notice when you're torquing and hammering on the pedals that there's just a little knock, and it's just inside of these pivots down here on the lower link. That was the one thing that struck me as odd. I felt like a bike of this caliber wouldn't need constant service like that. But you know, it's not a major thing. It's not, I'm not having to replace bearings or do anything like that. It's really just take it apart, clean it out, re-grease it, put it back together, and torque it back to spec. Really, this is just a great all-around bike. The reason that I picked this particular bike was that I had demoed a 2015, really fell in love with it. And so, in my opinion, this thing is good at everything that I have fun riding. I would imagine that some of the guys out there that are doing, you know, 16-mile climbs of 3,000 feet, you might want a 2x or an Eagle drivetrain or something for that, and maybe a little bit less of a slack head angle and less travel on the front. But I mean, throw a dual position air pike on this thing, and your compression lockout on the rear shock. I mean, this bike weighs 29 pounds without my care package on it, and that's a similar weight for a lot of full suspension rigs. So this bike really, you don't compromise on a lot by getting this travel up here in the front and rear, obviously. So I've thought about the 5010 before I got this. I thought about the Nomad as well. I ended up kind of landing on this because the Nomad was a bit too much bike for most of the trails that I ride, and the Solo was just not quite enough. To tell you the truth, the Solo probably would have been fine. I don't ride that extreme, but the pillow is nice to have when you need it, and you never really know when you're gonna need it. So I like to think I'm a good rider, but occasionally you do end up picking the wrong line and needing to just plow through it. So this bike gives you the additional travel needed and a little bit of confidence to get through those spots that are unanticipated. So that's pretty much why I bought it. Was it's almost a downhill bike, but you're still able to do some pedaling on it as well. Things that I'm thinking about upgrading, I guess we'll go over that. So I haven't needed to upgrade very much. Well, obviously not needing to needs an interesting word. Things that I've thought about upgrading. I'm thinking about getting some Knox composite wheels. I've thought about maybe some Reynolds and some other carbon out there that I've looked at. Light Cycles is in the short list. Just don't know if I'm that brave. But Knox Composites, I think, is at the top of the list right now for wheels. Yeah, carbon hoops on some new hubs, and keep these guys as spares. Thinking about buying a 160 mil air shaft for this thing. It's a pretty easy swap. I've got the 150 travel right now. It's just a single $40 part away from being a 160. Yeah, I think that I'm gonna do that. I don't bottom out that often, but it will slacken my head angle by about a ½ a degree or maybe a ¼ degree. Slacker is better. And yeah, it's just a really cheap upgrade, and I'll always have the 150 air shaft in order to, if I wanted to switch back to it. Obviously, I would love to have Eagle, but the price just isn't there. Thought about doing the E13 wide range cassette, but That's something like 300 some odd dollars right now, so I just can't justify that for just a little bit more range in my drivetrain. I think I just need to get on the turbo trainer more and build up these legs to compensate. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for things that I would upgrade. I'm always looking at tires. I like playing around with tires, seeing what works best out here in the desert Southwest. I'm in Tucson, Arizona, if you guys are not aware. I'm always looking for a tire that's going to compensate for the lack of traction that we have on our trails. Yeah, as far as everything else goes, Cockpit I've been really happy with. I'm a big fan of Shimano brakes. Yeah, I'm kind of mixed. I like the SRAM drivetrains, but then I'm all about Shimano for brakes. You know, I'm running an SLX now. Might go up to XT if I wanted to get the bite point adjustment, but really I don't need to worry about that. Brakes just slow you down. I guess I can talk about what I do like about the bike. 150 mil dropper, really good. They steepened the seat tube slightly so you can get into a nice pedaling position. Slack head tube, a little bit longer reach than the 2015. So your top tube's slightly longer, I think about 20 millimeters longer. I believe the chainstay has been shortened a small amount and the bottom bracket is a little bit lower. You know, we can talk about whose suspension design is better than others all day, but in reality, this is mind-blowing technology. When you're coming from my background of riding fully rigids in the 90s, you know, this is a complete, you know, these are spaceships. There's no comparing this to the bikes of yesteryear. It's been a year, and I mean, it still rides like brand new. Pedals have taken a beating. You can kind of see from there, but probably due to the low bottom bracket height, but you know, that's what they're there for. All right, so let's go ahead and pick you up. And we're gonna go over some of the details here. So these are those ergon grips I was talking about. You see that they're tapered. They have the little lip on the inside. They're a one ring lock design. Pretty big fan of these. I haven't ridden them much yet, but the build quality is pretty impressive. So yeah, looking forward to getting some rides in on those. You can see that my brakes have taken a little bit of beating. So a few crash videos you guys can enjoy on the channel. I like neat cables, you can see, so they're not rattling around as I'm riding. You can see that they're nice and taped up. I do put a master link here on my shifter cable, so if I ever break a chain, I've got an 11-speed master link right there. That's the care package I was talking about. It's got a inner tube, CO2 inflator, and tire lever in there. You can kind of see the tire lever sticking out there. Wrap it up in Gorilla Tape and strap it to your frame, and you never leave home without it. And we've got the Chris King bottom bracket in there. You can barely see it. You can see the derailleur has taken a beating. You guys should all have a tool like that. Derailleur alignment guide, the DAG 2.2. That will keep you shifting crisp. I'll make a video of how to use that tool. So that's pretty much it for the bike review. I'm a big fan. I guess another thing that we can do is go over the differences in the 2017 models. So yeah, the 2017 is basically the same with the exception of the brakes and the rear suspension that they switched over to rock shocks. Yeah, that's about it. But I'll have to say that this has been a very rewarding purchase. I'm still paying it off. It's not gonna go away anytime soon. But my justification was that I can always pay it off when I'm old and can't ride. Go into debt now so that I can have my fun. and we'll deal with the financial consequences of that later. If you do have the cash to go buy a bike, look into putting it on a credit card and then immediately paying off that card. I ended up getting 50,000 bonus points, which worked out to about 500 bucks if I was to cash it out. I used it for paying for a hotel up in Colorado when I went up there to go ride up in Salida, Colorado. So the purchase of the bike gave me rewards points that I could have really just put on made a payment to the card with that $500, but it ended up funding mountain bike excursions. All right, well that pretty much wraps it up. Look through some of the other videos on the channel. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more. I'm going to try and put out more videos like this, more mountain bike maintenance videos on a more regular basis. Yeah, give me a thumb up if you like my bike.